If you're not starting every single morning with unwavering focus, driven by a clear purpose to dominate your field and carve your place in the world, then you've already fallen behind. This existence doesn't pause for your explanations. It doesn't acknowledge your internal battles or your emotional struggles. The reality we live in is harsh and indifferent, and it only bows to strength. And that strength isn't granted through wishful thinking or waiting for favorable circumstances. It's earned through relentless discipline, decisive action, and daily commitment to doing the work that most people avoid because it's hard. Right now, many of you are trapped in the false comfort of mediocrity. You've made peace with convenience. And that very peace is what's destroying your potential. Ease is not your ally, it dulls your edge. If you believe you can achieve greatness by coasting through life, delivering half-hearted effort, you're deceiving yourself. No legend was ever born in softness. True achievers are molded by hardship, sharpened by adversity, and sculpted by a refusal to back down. They push through hardship, endure discomfort, and stay laser focused no matter how heavy the burden becomes. Let me be blunt. If you are not consumed by the drive to win, if your thoughts, your routines, and your habits are not all aligned towards success, then someone more ambitious, more disciplined, and more focused will take what should have been yours. That's not pessimism, it's reality. And truth be told, most people cannot handle the truth. Society has fed you comforting lies. You've been taught that success comes from luck, that wealth is a product of chance, and that power is a matter of being in the right place at the right time. None of that is true. There is no magical force selecting winners. Success is earned by those who grind while others sleep. When people ask me what's the secret to making it, I don't give them a complicated formula. I tell them sacrifice, consistency, hard work, and discipline. And nearly every time they complain it's too difficult, too demanding. Exactly. That's why most people fail. That's why mediocrity is so common, because excellence requires pain and most aren't willing to endure it. But here's the cold hard truth. You cannot avoid pain. You either suffer now through effort, discipline, and self-denial, or you suffer later with regret, with lack, with the bitterness of wasted potential. Which pain do you choose? Our culture has nurtured weakness. You've been told that vulnerability is strength, that it's acceptable to be fragile, that taking it easy is self-care. This mindset is what keeps so many people stuck in unremarkable lives. Ask yourself, who are you listening to? Who is shaping your beliefs? If your mentors, advisors, or idols aren't living the life you want, if they're not wealthy, not fulfilled, not powerful, why would you take their advice? Why listen to someone unsuccessful tell you how to succeed? That's like letting someone out of shape coach you on fitness. It's nonsense. If you want to rise, you need to model your life after those who have already risen. Study winners, analyze their behaviors, their thinking patterns, their habits, their drive. Then emulate them. Success always leaves behind a trail, follow it. If you're paying attention, those clues are everywhere. The unfortunate reality is that most people already know what they need to do. You need to stop wasting time, cut the excuses, push harder, but you don't. Why? Because you've allowed weakness to control you. You let comfort win. You wait for inspiration instead of acting decisively. Let me make this very clear. Motivation is unreliable. It's fleeting. You'll almost never feel like grinding. You'll rarely wake up craving the grind. But champions don't operate based on feeling. They operate based on commitment. They do the work whether they want to or not. That's the defining line between winners and everyone else. Losers depend on motivation. Winners depend on discipline. Losers invent reasons not to move. Winners find ways to keep going. And ironically, the grind isn't even as impossible as most imagine. It's just consistent. Wealthy, high-performing individuals aren't necessarily working harder in a single moment. They're just working with more focus over a longer period without giving in to distractions. Some will say, but I'm working hard and still not seeing results. To that, I say, work smarter, longer, with more precision. A few weeks or months of effort won't yield massive success. This journey takes years of grit, persistence, and sacrifice, but most people quit long before the real payoff comes. That's the truth. And life, for better or worse, gives you what you earn. If you're broke, there's a reason. If you're miserable, there's a cause. Your current situation is a direct outcome of your habits, your daily choices, and your willingness or unwillingness to take ownership of your destiny. But here's the good news. Change is within your control. If you decide to fully commit, to consistently outwork your doubts and your comfort, the world will respond. The universe rewards the relentless, the committed, the brave. It honors those who are willing to risk comfort for achievement, to trade temporary ease for permanent success. So what are you prepared to sacrifice? Are you ready to push through the pain barrier? Are you brave enough to bet on yourself when no one else does? Because those who do, they build legacies. The rest just watch from the sidelines, full of envy and what ifs. Remember this, every second of hesitation, every moment you waste indulging your comfort brings you one step closer to a life of mediocrity. Most people act as though time is infinite. It's not. Every minute counts. What will you do with yours? People often say they'll begin tomorrow, but let's be honest, tomorrow is a comforting lie. The moment you delay, someone more determined, more disciplined, and more focused is out there outworking you. Every second you spend procrastinating is a chance slipping through your fingers, a moment someone else is claiming what could have belonged to you. You might believe you've got endless time, but the truth is, you're racing against a clock that never stops ticking. Your circumstances, your setbacks, your hardships, they don't excuse you. They don't protect you from failure. Because in the real world, your personal struggles are invisible to others. The universe doesn't care about your background, your pain, or your justification for inaction. It owes you nothing. And if you keep waiting for someone to save you, you'll spend your life stuck in place, growing old, growing bitter, wondering how it all slipped away. Look around. The ones living large, cruising in luxury cars, residing in opulent homes, flying first class and beyond, they didn't stumble into success. They weren't randomly chosen. They made a firm decision to rise. They outworked the rest. They stayed up late while others slept. They seized every chance with both hands, turning effort into elevation. Now, while they thrive, many others just watch, full of envy, stuck in a passive role. That should ignite something inside your age, hunger, a refusal to let another moment slip without purpose. Ask yourself, have you ever tasted defeat so raw that it made you question your entire being? If not, you're playing it too safe. Real loss, the kind that scars you, should set your soul on fire. It should push you to transform every day into a warpath for redemption. But most people, they don't feel that intensity because they've learned to settle. They've made peace with average. And that's the most dangerous choice of all, becoming okay with being less than you're capable of. Being soft comes at a high price. It robs you of ambition, drains your strength, and erases the legacy you were born to leave. Take a hard look in the mirror. Are you living as the version of yourself you envisioned? Or have you given into mediocrity? Deep down, you already know. The line between those who rise and those who fall is simple. Winners never compromise on greatness. They don't lower the bar. They raise themselves up over and over, no matter how painful, no matter how long it takes. The brutal truth is most people lack the foundation to succeed. No self-discipline, no inner compass, no pride in who they are or what they're building. You give your attention to worthless distractions. You scroll endlessly, watching others build empires while your own dreams collect dust. You let your emotions dictate your decisions. You let fleeting pleasures steal your time. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're losing. You need to develop a sharp focus and unwavering commitment to your time and energy. If you want to lead, to stand at the top, you must operate like royalty. Kings don't waste their minutes. They don't tolerate weakness. They don't indulge in meaningless distractions. They are singular in purpose, domination. So what are you prioritizing? Because your current life is a reflection of your current focus. Winners win because they're utterly consumed by winning. It's not a passing thought, it's an obsession. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't look for motivation to strike. They act, they execute without mercy, without pause. That's the truth behind their success. The ones who make it don't rely on emotion, they rely on consistency. The mistake most people make is believing they can have it all: wealth and comfort, success and ease. But that's not how it works. The ones who truly make it, who rise beyond the average, they sacrifice everything. They abandon balance. For them, there is no enough. There is only more. If that scares you, if that sounds like too much, then success is not your path. If you're unwilling to endure discomfort, to surrender the luxury of rest, then you don't deserve the reward. You think I care about lounging, about movies, about aimless entertainment? Not a chance. Because I know while I rest, someone else is grinding with more intensity. And I refuse to let them outpace me. This is the brutal split the strong endure discomfort, embrace pressure, and turn pain into progress. The weak, they chase comfort, and in doing so, they inherit regret. Let me ask you, how badly do you want to win? Most of you talk about success like it's a fantasy. You post quotes, share dreams, speak big, but your actions whisper the truth. And for most, those actions scream laziness. If you're not pushing yourself with the fury of a man possessed, then you don't really want success. You want the illusion of it. There's a massive gap between wishing for greatness and being prepared to sacrifice for it. Do you think the world's top athletes, the billionaires, the giants of history got there by easing through life? Number. They were immersed. They gave up everything. They burned bridges to weakness and built staircases from their struggle. So let me ask again, what are you willing to give? Will you rise early, stay up late, endure the burn, ignore the distractions? Will you strip away everything soft, everything useless, and rebuild yourself with grit and purpose? Because if you won't, don't kid yourself. Stay where you are. Stay broken, irrelevant, forgotten. But if you're truly ready to claim your crown, to stop watching and start owning, then now is the moment. Cut out the noise. Let go of every excuse. Walk away from the comfort that's killing you. Most of you don't even realize the battle you're in. You wake up like you've got forever, strolling through your day as if time isn't bleeding away. But every tick of the clock is your life getting shorter. And while you waste it, there's another man more obsessed, more focused, turning his pain into power and his effort into empire. The only question that remains is, will that man be you? He's giving up everything for a dream, and one day you'll wake up and see him standing where you once envisioned yourself. He'll have the success, the recognition, the life you said you wanted. And you'll be left with nothing but regret. Think that sounds extreme? Think it's too harsh? Take a good look around. The world doesn't play fair. It rewards the bold, the relentless, the ones who refuse to accept average. The wealthy keep building wealth. The powerful keep gaining influence. And the weak, they complain, point fingers, and stay stuck. That's how the system works. So if you're not approaching life with a will to dominate, then what exactly are you doing? Let me pose a question. When was the last time you truly tested yourself? Not just worked hard, but pushed until everything in you screamed to stop, yet you kept going. When was the last time quitting wasn't an option, when you had no choice but to move forward, regardless of pain or pressure? That's what sets high achievers apart. Weak men retreat when things get uncomfortable. They fold at the first sign of adversity. They make excuses, justify their lack of results, and cling to comfort. That's why they stay stuck, forgotten, underpaid, unnoticed. But the winners, they live by a different rule. They understand that discomfort is the toll you pay for greatness. That suffering, that relentless effort when your body begs you to rest, that is the real investment in success. And the reason so many people never reach it is simple. They aren't willing to pay that price. Most people lose not because they lack talent, but because they treat life like it's a hobby. They have dreams but no urgency. They write goals but never act. They speak big but move small. Every day I watch people waste the most valuable resource they have, time. They scroll through their feeds, binge shows, and waste hours on distractions while their ambitions wither away unnoticed. So let me ask you, what are you really waiting for? You keep telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes and you say it again. Before you know it, years have slipped through your fingers. And what do you have to show for it? Nothing but stories of what could have been. That's the defining line between success and failure. Those who lose wait for the right time. Those who win take action, no matter the circumstance. Losers dream, winners do. The ones stuck in place tell themselves they'll begin when they feel inspired. Champions know that motivation is fleeting. They don't rely on feelings, they rely on discipline. They understand that doing what's required, whether they want to or not, is the only way to get ahead. That's what separates the top from everyone else. They don't need perfect conditions. They need purpose. There was a point in my life when I had absolutely nothing. No influence, no money, no direction, just a vision in my mind and an unbreakable desire to succeed. I remember lying awake at night, staring blankly at the ceiling, feeling like time was slipping past and I had no control. I learned, often painfully, that no one was coming to push me forward. No one was going to get me out of bed or force me to be better. If I didn't put in the effort, then nothing would ever change. And this is the brutal truth many refuse to accept. They'll blame the economy, their childhood, their job, their government, everything but themselves. But let me tell you this, your life is your responsibility. If you're poor, it's on you. If you're weak, look in the mirror. If you feel like a failure, then you need to face the fact that you didn't do what was required. Because out there are men who began with far less and still found their way to victory. I've met people who came from extreme poverty, abandoned backgrounds, even homelessness, and yet they fought their way to greatness. So what's your excuse? Life isn't meant to be fair. It's a brutal test of who wants it the most. Think of two fighters stepping into a ring. One has spent months training hard, never missing a session, pushing beyond his limits every single day. The other took shortcuts, skipped workouts, and made excuses. When the bell rings, who wins? The one who put in the grind. That's exactly how life plays out. It doesn't honor wishes, it honors preparation. Still, people love to talk about luck. Oh, he just got lucky. Please, luck is nothing more than preparation meeting opportunity. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Every ounce of effort you put in now creates chances others will never even see because they were too distracted, too lazy, too content with staying average. I didn't end up in a position of influence and strength by waiting around. I didn't wake up one day with wealth and power handed to me. It took endless hours of work, many of which felt fruitless. There were countless moments when I wanted to throw in the towel, when everything felt too heavy, but I kept going, knowing that every small action was pushing me forward inch by inch. And here's something most people don't realize: it's not about being the most gifted or the smartest. The people who come out on top are the ones who keep moving forward when everyone else gives up. You see, that's the real reason many never rise. They give up too early. They start with excitement, but when things get challenging, they retreat. And that cycle repeats year after year, keeping them stuck in the same place. But if you can hold on just a bit longer than your mind tells you to, if you can move past the moment of doubt, you'll break through. That's when everything changes. But that requires pain, discomfort, sacrifice, and most simply aren't willing to endure that. That's why they lose. Winners don't flinch at the price. They're ready to pay it in full. Let me share something with you. There once was a man who wanted to be successful above all else. He went to a wise elder and asked him to teach the secret. The elder brought him to the sea, walked him deep into the waves, and suddenly forced him under. The man struggled and panicked, desperate for air. Just before he blacked out, the elder pulled him up. Furious and gasping, the man demanded to know why. The elder looked him dead in the eye and said, "When you want success as badly as you wanted to breathe just now, you'll find it. That's the level of desire it takes. But most of you want it when it's easy. You want it when it doesn't disrupt your comfort. Those who truly achieve don't just want success, they're obsessed with it. It consumes their thoughts, fuels their decisions, shapes their routines. They're willing to risk it all because failure simply isn't an option. So I ask again, how badly do you want this? Because for every second you hesitate, someone else is working, improving, building. While you hit snooze, they're stacking victories. While you procrastinate, they're setting the foundation for empires. And one day when you look back, the painful truth will hit. It was always you standing in your own way. It wasn't the world, it wasn't bad luck, it was your choices. In that moment of reflection, you'll either see a man who fought tooth and nail for everything he has, or one who let fear, laziness, and indecision steal his future. And by then, it may be too late. So I'm telling you now, wake up, take control. This moment right here is your opportunity. Stop waiting, stop blaming, stop watching others rise while you stagnate. You were not born to be average. You were built to dominate. And if you decide right now that you will accept nothing short of complete victory, then there is absolutely nothing in this world that can keep you from reaching it.